All right, back of the show is Brandon Royval. He's got himself a big one at 125 pounds. He takes on Kai Kara France on the main card of UFC 253 next Saturday night on Fight Island. Brandon, the world traveler, Royval is here. How are you, sir?
Evidently so, man. I haven't even traveled anywhere before. But I'm so excited to be going to Abu Dhabi. But I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I guess my first question is, how has your first training camp been as a full-time fighter? I mean, you gave your notice after the debut win over Tim Elliott. How has that all been going?
It's like the greatest thing ever, man. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's so great, man. Just wake up and just work, man. It's great. Do whatever I want to do in between times. And I don't know, man. It's like a dream come true.
And you get to take naps and actually get like a full night of sleep. This is new for you, right?
Yeah, full night sleep, man. I don't think I take much naps, but full night of sleep is enough, man.
Well, the nap option is there if you want it.
Yeah, exactly. It's an option. It's there, you know.
It's crazy, man. Coming off the win over a guy like Tim Elliott, although you weren't overly thrilled with your performance, the UFC obviously sees something in you to book you a fight like this for your sophomore appearance. When you got the contract and you saw Kai Kara France on the other side, how did you react to that?
Oh man, that was like the coolest thing ever, and that's how it feels too. Cause like, I don't know, guys. It's a lot of it's like probably happen chancing too, but like it just feels like the UFC trusts me a little bit too, and I don't know. I know that's a little bit probably more in my head than anything, but I just like I said, it's just a great opportunity, and I couldn't be any happier. And the Kai Kara France, like, what gets you up out of bed like more than a big name like that, especially as like a UFC, my second fight in the UFC, man.
What's interesting is that you agreed to this fight before things started really coming together. You were in Vegas and now you're in Abu Dhabi. And then the fight started to come together. You're on this massive card because you're actually going to be leading into two world title fights, one between Dominic Reyes and Jan Blachowicz, and then headlining this event is Israel Adesanya against Paulo Costa. I mean, that's pretty damn cool, right? For your second fight.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, exactly. And like for me, man, like, I don't know. I'd be watching this fight, be on pay-per-view, watching all of it too. So like the fact that I could be a part of it is amazing, you know?
You use the word happenstance, and I feel like it's a perfect word to kind of describe when you got into the UFC, because you came into this division at a perfect time, because like we have a new champion who's getting ready to fight Cody Garbrandt in November. We get Alex Perez and Brandon Moreno about to fight on that same card in November, and there's a lot of hype around guys like Askar Askarov. Manel Kape's about to make his debut at some point in 2020. You're getting this big fight on a huge card. Like, the timing is really good, is it not?
Yeah, it's the best, man. And like the flyweight division is not like a boring division anymore, man. The flyweight division is really exciting, and I've never personally thought the flyweight division is boring, and I think you probably are like the same, where you've always kind of been a fan of the flyweight division, but you can't like argue that the flyweight division is boring, man. You see Askar Askarov and Pantoja put on a great show. Pantoja and Matt Snell put on a great show, and like every time you see a flyweight out there, they're out there putting performances, including Benavidez and Figueroa, whatever the fuck his name is.
And then did you get to work with Alex Perez for training for this fight? Like, how's that?
He was in town just checking out Factory X and checking out Denver and just training with us a little bit. And yeah, I got to work with him, man. That was really cool. It was a good opportunity to brush shoulders with him and like just work with him, man. Just pick his brain a little bit and just, you know, learn from one of the best.
Did I see that young Alex Hernandez is at Factory X, or was for a while? How did that happen?
Alex Hernandez is going to be in my corner, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's cool as shit, man. You know, Alex Hernandez, like I guess, like just seeing him on TV, like I didn't know like how me and him, like when I heard he's coming over, I'm like, I don't know how this dude's gonna be, like, you know, but he's so cool. Like I couldn't even believe how cool and like how chill he is, and just how funny and all that stuff, man. He came in like after, like it was the week after my fight. He came and trained with us, and just kind of like just checking out gyms, man. I think he's just looking for like, he never had a head coach before, which is like crazy to me because he's so good and he went so far in his career without having like he'd do jiu-jitsu and he'd run his own camps and all that stuff. And it's I don't know, man. I just forget how blessed I am since being a Factory X fighter, that I've always kind of had like a great coach and just know what's going on, like have game plans and all this great stuff. And he's been doing this all by himself, and it's kind of crazy. Now he's with the team and he has actual training partners and stuff. Like I can't wait to see where his career goes. I think the reason why he came to our gym though is because he's managed by this guy named Jason House, and Jason House, who's my manager and managed a lot of his Factory X guys. Him and I coach like I think Jason House is really huge on my coach, Mark Montoya, and he said, all right, well, man, like you need to go to like a gym. So he's checking out a few gyms, and then Jason told him to come check out our gym, and then he just came back and he's just stuck and moved out to Colorado. So Alex Hernandez is not only like a full-time, like not only a Factory X fighter, he's a full-time Factory X fighter, lives in Colorado, and he's about to be in my corner for this fight too. So it's great, man. It's great to have him. He's a wizard, man. It's another dude whose brain I can pick, who I make corner me on Fridays when we spar and all this stuff too.
How many new words have you learned from him? Because he speaks in such crazy vernacular and vocabulary. All these new words that when I interview him, like my brain is full of like new vocabulary words.
Right. He must just be Googling stuff. He's not that smart around us. No, I'm just playing. He must be chill with a dictionary in front of him because I don't believe that.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. He's just been boxing with me, a lot of CTE and head damage, you know. I'm just kidding.
I'll make sure.
Dealing with that raw dog power.
I mean, this fight is awesome coming up for you next Saturday. I mean, Kai's got a ton of experience. He's 4-1 in the UFC. One loss was to Brandon Moreno in a super fun fight. Stylistically, we got two high paces getting ready to collide. This one is right up your alley, fair to say?
Yeah, this one's where I'm making 50 G's, baby. I'm going to make some extra cash. I'm trying to make money and get the hell out of the sport and move on with my life. But, yeah, man, this is a great fight, man. This is great. Right off the bat, right after – like I like it took me a little bit late like to start thinking about like where I'd go right after I'd fight Tim Elliott, and like it was like the week up some dude interviewed me, was like, well, if you win this fight, where do you see yourself fighting next, or who do you want to see next, especially if you're like can go up in rankings. And I was like trying to think, and I was like looking at who maybe like would be a good call out, or who would be like a good, if anybody asked me like who I'd be keeping my eyes out on, you know. I thought Kai Kara France would be the best matchup because we weren't too far from like rankings with each other if I won that Tim Elliott fight. So, and then I just thought he was just a good matchup, man. I like the matchup. I like his style. I'm a huge fan of Kai Kara France, honestly. So being able to fight him and being able to already have like so much knowledge on him and watched him so many times is great.
I think your boy Yusuf Salal just tried to creep in here, and then he was like, "Oh snap, something's happening!" But he just beat it. What a year he's having, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God, that fool is gonna be after he fights it, because I'm gonna stay out in Abu Dhabi and stay in his corner too. And yeah, Alex and I are gonna be out there for like a month, and coach. And then I'm sure he's gonna fight the next month too. So you know, Yusuf, just popping him off, man. And I was like, so when he started that fight, man, we're just going so crazy. I don't know. Yusuf with that back kick. Oh my God.
That fight was an
yeah, right.
Fight was
it's
just
so
bananas.
great, man. He's definitely the future of the 145 division, and if he decides to drop or if he stays at that weight class, whatever he wants, man, that kid's the future of the sport. He's so amazing, and I don't like you guys get to see like a very little of him, and what the little that you guys do see is so spectacular. But I get to watch this kid every day, and he does so many amazing things. Like I don't know, it's just great. He's motivational and made a lot of sacrifice to be where he's at. But like I wholeheartedly believe that kid's going to be a world champion and just going to be world renowned name and all that stuff, because he really is the future. He just turned 24 last month, and 4-0 in the UFC, or he's about to be 4-0 in the UFC. And like I said, man, arguably hasn't even been touched. Like he does such a great job, man. I love it.
Yeah, and he's been through so many different fights where he's been through like decision wins where he just cruised the entire time. He's had fights where he's had like those grindy fights with Jordan Griffin, and then this last fight he had to kind of go through, I can't believe I didn't knock this guy out, to trying to take on a really gritty, tough guy who just wouldn't go away. So he's experienced kind of like the highs and lows of everything at this point already.
Yeah, man, just so young in his career, man. You're only getting the start of this kid. This kid's right now, we just finished practice. He's over here doing a private for some dude kickboxing private. And a little bit of making money, but like what you don't see making money wise is he's over here getting this practice and like just seeing other people making other people better, and that makes you better in return, man. Is he's over here investing, he's in our corners, he's over here helping us get better, and in return it's all helping him too, man. So it's great to have him out there. He's a selfless teammate, and you can just see his improvements every time he steps in that cage. And he's 24 years old, man, just turned 24. That kid's the future of the sport for sure, man.
And he's officially the loudest quarterman in UFC history.
Right? That's what I like. I was in my car, and like the sun was in my eyes a little bit, and I'm like, shit, I can go inside, and you can hear Yusuf over the phone the whole entire time too. So, but yeah, it was so funny after he cornered Devontae. Everybody was tweeting, "Who's Devontae's annoying corner?" I was laughing so hard. I'm like, yeah, that's what you have to deal with every day.
Right. When it comes to this fight, I mean, you've watched Kai so many times over the years. You kind of expected this fight to come at some point. Where do you see your advantages lying in this one? Because most of his finishes have been knockouts or TKOs. He does have one submission on his resume, I believe. But many look at this fight, and the narrative surrounding it is that he has the advantage on the feet. You have the advantage on the mat. Do you feel the same?
I bet you any money his submission, he dropped some dude and then like submitted him while he was about to knock him out or something too. I'm curious to see what that submission is. But for my corner, like my corners usually break down stuff and like give me a game plan on how to go about things. And this time they told me to just have fun. I'm better than him everywhere, and I honestly believe that too. I think I beat him everywhere. I think he's good. I think he's a good technical kickboxing striker, and I think if it hits the mat, I obviously have the big advantage. That being said, I don't think I've ever seen Kai Kara-France's ground game, man. He's so good at keeping it. He gets a 90% takedown finish or takedown defense in UFC, man. So you don't get to see his ground game. For all I know, he's like a black belt, and it goes to the ground. He jumps guard and triangles me or some crazy shit. But I assume I have a huge advantage on the ground. And as far as striking goes, I think I'm just way more creative than him. I think he has a very much like he has a huge bomb, sets up that right hand perfectly, and he does a lot of great things technically, and just like what you want to see in any kickboxing fighter. But he doesn't but I fight like different, man. I have like a style. I fight with swagger and stuff, and I fight a little off rhythm. And like I said, he fights very much on a rhythm, and which is good. He fights super technical, and that's how you want every kickboxing. Like if I'm teaching a kid kickboxing, I want him to fight like Kai Kara-France, but he definitely needs a little bit more of that like creativity to him. I think that's where I stride and where I can capitalize on him.
Do you feel like in a weird way, because this card is so massive and Dana White's putting a lot of emphasis on it, you see the promos and stuff like that, do you feel in a way, and I don't even know if you feel this kind of pressure or maybe it excites you in a way, do you feel like you're representing the entire division here? Like this is, on this massive spot right before the two title fights, this is a chance to be like, hey, for all you naysayers about this division, watch this. This is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. I think I always carry a little bit of that weight on my shoulders, but I think now that naturally comes from me. I don't think I have to go out there and be exciting, especially against a guy like Kai Kara-France. Is not anything I have to worry about. That's going to come natural, man. I move forward. I don't necessarily like brawling. It's just something that happens. But I have a little bit of a go forward mentality and throw a lot of punches mentality, and I think that leads to exciting fights. And I think I'm an exciting fighter, and I don't necessarily think I'm trying to represent the flyweight division, but I do have that in the back of my head always. Like, you want the flyweights to look good. I think with a guy like Kai Kara-France, it's going to be no question. This is going to be a good fight. Like, I already know. I can't, like, my style versus his style is going to lead to a fucking exciting fight. I think I'm out there to try to make a showcase for myself today. I think that next week or in 2 more weeks, it's all about making a showcase for myself and making a name for myself and creating a future for myself and a path for myself and starting to get fans, followers, all this stuff that are going to enhance my future and make my future better,
What's kind of your mental approach like? Because the last time I talked to you, I couldn't get it out of my head the way you approach fights as you're getting ready to fight. Like you said, like, I hate this effing sport. I don't want to be here. And then like once you get in there, it's like a whole new ball game. What's it like at this point in the preparation? Like, do you have those thoughts, or does it happen like right before you get ready to make the walk?
At this point, man, like at this point at the beginning of practice, I looked at my teammate and or not even beginning, like middle of practice, we were like going over some stuff, and like I have a great teammate, and we're talking about game plans and stuff. My coaches say, have my way with him. This is a perfect fight for me, perfect matchup. But me and my teammates have been like, me and one of my good teammates, Clay, have been coming up with the game plan the whole entire time. But like in the middle of the day, I'm like, God damn, this fucking sucks, man. Like, I don't know, man. I love the sport so much, and like I'll always be passionate. I'll do martial arts the day I die. But like fighting is like anxiety struck, man. And like I'm over here, I'm cutting weight, I'm scrawny as fuck, and I'm over here like drilling, trying to like make these last minute improvements or just stay sharp before I go out there and have this fight. And I don't know, like I said, it's a little like it gets in, you get in your head a little bit. And like I always think of it as like, this guy's like, and like this is just true. Like, I'm not trying to think of it like people say that fighting's not personal, and like I do. Like, I'm sure if me and Kai Kara-France were in a room together, like he'd be the coolest motherfucker in the room for sure. Like, I remember him in The Ultimate Fighter. He's so cool. But like at this point, it's personal, man. It's super personal. He's trying to take my dreams away, man. Everything I've ever worked for, and like I always think about that before I fight, and it's just like always anxiety struck, and like it turns into be a little bit fun. And this is like it's getting. I think it gets a little easier because when you're interviewing me for the LFA and stuff, it's like, what happens if I lose the LFA title fight, man? Do I go start over again and climb back to go fight for the LFA title fight and then try to get to the UFC, or like, is it over? You know what I'm saying? And like, that's the honest to God truth between some of those fights is like, this could be a fight, like a career ending fight, you know? And, it's not necessarily like that way anymore. Like I'm fighting number 6 in the world. Like I can still make a quick bounce back, you know, or at the very least, I'm still in the UFC making money and fighting the best in the world. And I think a little bit of anxiety is taken away just because where I'm at. But at the same time, it's also like it's taken away a little bit by like what I'm doing right now too, is because I get nervous, but at the same time, I'm fighting on fucking pay-per-view and Adesanya's up next, man. Like that's the coolest shit when I dreamed of doing this sport when I was younger, it wasn't even like this. I was just trying to kick my brother's ass and get an advantage in high school, so I wasn't fucking walking around like a little like sissy, you know, or whatever. I wasn't like looking to get picked on, or I didn't want to get punked, or you know. I didn't expect it to go this far, man. And the fact that it is this far, I keep shocking myself. And like, I want to win, and I know I could beat some of these guys, and I know I could beat Kai Kara France. I know I have more skills to beat Kai Kara France. But if I win, or when I win, or whatever it is, I know I'm going to be fucking shocked and just like, oh my God, am I number fucking 6 or 7 in the world right now? And like, it's cool because it keeps me like, I don't know, man. It just keeps me like, I don't know, like I'm discovering something every day, and I'm discovering more in myself. And like, it's weird because like you don't expect like I don't know, I guess maybe not you, but like I never really expected much for myself, you know. And like the fact that I'm over here exceeding my goals and my hard work is paying off. And like when I first started, I was like, I'm not that athletic, I'm not like but I'm tough. I know I could take an ass whooping, and I know that I could work hard. And that was like my whole motivation when I first started training MMA. I was like, I could outwork these guys, and I could take an ass whooping. Like I'll get good, you know. And like, and it's just like it happened, and years of just doing that, and just and making these improvements and working hard, and it's finally paying off. And like I said, it gets a little bit easier to make that walk out there for sure. Now that I'm like, damn, this is fucking cool, man. Like there's a camera in my face, Adesanya and Paulo Costa are up next, and like I don't know, man. Like this is it. I have to like sit back a little bit and realize that my dreams are kind of unfolding right around me, you know. And I'm not there, but we're close, man. This is fucking like this is really close, man. Like so. I can feel it, man. And I can feel myself touching, like just improving and being world class, you know?
So you're accepting the fact that you belong here now, because you didn't probably think that way before.
Yeah, and like I said, it's still hard for me to like believe, and I'm still like, what the fuck? I'm fighting Kai Kara France, you know? Like, and like, I don't know. It's still like it still keeps me humble and shit, but like, yeah, I'm accepting it, man. And like I train with world class. I'm training with Alex Hernandez, and I'm training with Yusuf Zalal. I'm training with fucking other studs that are going to be stars in the sport one day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm training with other people that train with other like great people, and like I'm just brushing shoulder with the best. And like you get to realize how good you are, you know, and like and you get to realize that, damn, these guys are like, it's not that like we're all like I don't know, we're all doing this together, and I'm hanging around stars, man, and it's crazy. And I don't know, it's like weird to accept that this is my life, you know.
Are you taking like any time for yourself to sort of visualize that moment right before you walk out when you start to have those doubts and start questioning yourself? Like, are you starting to think ahead here, or are you taking the if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of approach to the mental side of the game?
To me, anytime like I feel like I think about fighting too much, and I think I try to step away from it more than anything, because I feel like sometimes I just get like in my head, I'm over, like I'll like meditate on it, or I'll be thinking about it and this and that. And I'm like, all right, well, like maybe I should not think about it, relax a little bit, and like kind of take a step outside of the sport for a second. And like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I feel like maybe it's the other way where I need to work on it more. It's just stepping outside of the cage and just living life outside of the cage a little bit too much too. Cause I feel like everything in my life surrounds this fight and this next moment and getting better at MMA, and everything's MMA, you know?
Yeah, well, now you got this extra free time in your hands. Normally, you get to take that away from with working at the juvenile detention center. Now you don't have that anymore. You got to find other ways to take your mind off the sport.
Yeah, and that's another thing is like, yeah, I'm doing a lot of other stuff to fill my activity and stuff. So,
like what? What else are you doing? What's anything new?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. So you said I worked in that juvenile correction facility. It's just something I was really passionate about. I really like that. Like, it's a really cool job. As much as I like hate it working, but I just hate it because I just didn't sleep, you know, and there's not enough hours in a day to accomplish what I need to accomplish. But just trying to get back with the gang reformation and just stuff to like help keep kids out of gangs. There's a big gang problem and a big violence problem the last couple of years in Denver, and just any way I can stay active in that is really what I'm trying to become a part of. And like I said, some of these kids, man, they have a lot of talent, and like they just don't have belief in themselves. And I even think like seeing some guy like me who's maybe not the most intelligent person or whatever it is, they saw me make sacrifices in the juvie where like I was working around them full time and the schedule's working out. They flipped the schedule and it didn't work around my training, so I had to work overnights. And they realized I wasn't sleeping, and like I talked to them about it. Like I wasn't sleeping, but like I was like, hey, I have a dream, man. I have something I got to accomplish, and they got to see me step away, and like maybe they can see that sacrifice and hard work, that if they make that, they can do this too, you know, or not necessarily the sport, but whatever, you know, like whatever it is.
Have any of those kids that you worked with in the past, have they like started training or anything like that you know? Did anyone come to Factory X and be like, Brandon told me about it?
And not anyone training. I don't know if it's the best idea to kind of like have them all over at the gym and stuff, but like I no, not necessarily, not training or anything. But it is something I've talked to them about, and I think it is a good like it's good for some of these kids to like release anger, man, and just like some of those kids can fight, man. That's another thing, and like a lot of those kids can fight. Like they're not stranger to fighting. Like those kids fight every day, man. So might as well get good at it and like learn a discipline, and maybe find a new path in life, you know.
Yeah, make better decisions when those times come.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, because like, and especially if you're a gang, man, fighting's inevitable. They're fighting every day, you know, and if they're lucky, it's a fight, you know. Otherwise, they're getting shot at, and that's just a sad reality of what's going on with these kids these days. In Denver, every weekend, some kids getting shot, or some kids dying, and there's not drive-bys where it's 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds. They're all 17, 16-year-old kids, man, 13-year-olds and up, you know, and it's super sad to see. And like I said, these are kids that I've worked with. I've seen a kid passed away this last weekend that I worked with for 2 years and got shot in his apartment. And that's a kid who I believed in and wholeheartedly knew he could change the fucking world, man. That kid's a leader, and me and him butt heads constantly. And it was one of those situations where it was definitely a power struggle with that kid. But like, I still saw what he had, man. He had a great view. Like he could have done anything, man. He was a go-getter, and it sucks to see that he went out and went right back into the gang life, and his life ended because of it, you know.
Sorry to hear that, man. That sucks.
No, and it's like I said, it happens, man. I think I've worked there for 2 years, and I've seen 4 kids that all died, all gunshots, all gun violence.
Well, you get a chance to motivate these kids and other kids around the world. How do you do with that next Saturday night heading into these title fights? How does this thing all play out with Kai Kara France?
I think I'm just going to be too much for him. I think I'm going to overwhelm him, and I think that he's going to fall right into my game plan and fall right into my traps, man. And if not, it's going to be a brawl. So, and if not, he's whooped my ass, then it's going to be a brawl, and that's the only way it's going to be about it. So how I do it is I'm going to go in there and just do me, man. Go out there, have fun, and just try to find that flow state and just, you know, live it up in there, man. It's my dream. This is it, man. Like, fucking enjoy every moment of everything that's coming my way.
So I wanted to switch gears and get your take on something, if I could, before we let you go, because before you guys head to Abu Dhabi and we get fight week underway for UFC 253, this Saturday night is a huge card. We got the grudge match between Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley at the Apex. What do you think, man? Who takes that one?
Fuck, I think Colby takes it. I'm not hyped about it, but I think Colby takes it. But yeah,
why?
He's one of those guys. He puts on a quantity, man. Like I said, I hope Colby takes it. I think we all know he's a good guy and all that, but he's just too much, man. He overwhelms people. He does a lot, man. He's good. He's a stud. Wrestles. He's one of those guys that is a nightmare to fight. It's a nightmare matchup for me. Like a guy like that is like the absolute worst person that I want to fight, because it's going to take you down, throw 100 punches. When you get up, you can throw 2 punches, go right back for a takedown. He's just a grinder, man. It's hard to fight guys like that. And do you know who's like that? Was Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott's just like that, man. A grinder. Stood in my fucking face, and it's hard to get an offense going when you're on defense the whole time. And I think that's what's going to be.
Excellent insight, my man. Always appreciate you jumping on. Great fight next weekend in a primo spot, which is well deserved. I don't care what you tell yourself or anybody else. This is a great spot for you, and I wish you all the best on Fight Island and safe travels to Abu Dhabi, man.
Hey, bro, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you always doing these interviews with me, man. I get excited to talk to you every fight. It's like pre-fight ritual. I'm gonna go talk to Mike Heck, man. So I appreciate it, bro, man. We're growing in this sport together. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and just a quick shout out to EAP Glass. Another thing is that to become a full-time fighter, I got a cool sponsor, and it's a glass company, Denver. Ed and Cyrus, man, they're looking out, and they said they're fight fans, and they reached out to me, man, and just sponsored me and helped me on a week-to-week basis, and I couldn't have done any of this without them.